In today's video, I'll be turning some of my favorite prequel memes into their own LEGO Star Wars sets, with each build being larger and more detailed than the one before. From General Grievous's never-ending lightsabers to a happy-go-lucky Obi-Wan watching his brother burn, the memes of the prequel era have become embedded into the Star Wars culture, for better or for worse. And the subreddit PrequelMemes is one of the most popular Star Wars communities online, with nearly 4 million members. That's a higher population than some great American cities like Houston, Phoenix, or even beautiful Philadelphia. And thousands of these members create some amazing memes, GIFs, and all kinds of good goofs for the Star Wars community.
There you go. Now everybody's happy.
Which is why today, I will be turning some of my favorite posts from the PrequelMemes subreddit into their own official, air quotes on that one, LEGO sets. This video is all about enjoying the humor in Star Wars and just not taking it so seriously. Because even though Star Wars fans can spend hours arguing online about the best movies or TV shows, one thing we can all agree on is that everyone enjoys a good meme. Unless like your entire brand is built on negativity or something. As I mentioned earlier, each build will be bigger than the last, so make sure to stick around to see the largest build at the end of the video. And yes, I am busting out the light kit again for these builds, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. But with that being said, sit back and relax, maybe grab yourself a Tacadona Taco de la Quencher, and enjoy as I build some of my favorite prequel memes in LEGO. Now, I'm actually starting with a personal favorite of mine, with this behind the scenes picture of Liam Neeson from The Phantom Menace, because it's one of my favorite pictures that ever came from the prequels. This man is just chilling on set, staying hydrated, and keeping those luscious Jedi locks as wavy as possible. And I wanted to turn this meme into kind of a gift with purchase size build of the behind the scenes Qui-Gon. And to do that, I started by building a small stand and filling it up with different sand colored tile, plate, and just sloped pieces. After placing all that, I added an umbrella and chair that I made with some pretty basic building techniques for my Irish king to sit on and relax after a hard day of filming. Once the build was all but done, I grabbed my Qui-Gon minifig, but I had some adjustments to do, so I swapped out his hairpiece with a nice little head wrap and got the man a little something to sip on. Now, this first build is just something small to get us started, but I really like how this micro build turned out. Looking at it immediately reminds me of the picture from The Phantom Menace, so it feels like a job well done. A great build to start the video, but now on to the next one. Now, this second build will feature two of the most iconic and memed prequel characters for the price of one.
Hello there.
If you scroll through the most popular posts on the PrequelMemes subreddit, you will find the top 3 all feature the infamous General Grievous. And Obi-Wan's iconic "Hello There" scene has been memed so heavily that it actually made its way into the Kenobi series on Disney+.
Hello there.
To be honest, I simply could not make a video about prequel memes without including these two characters. So I decided to build the scene where Obi-Wan surprises Grievous with his iconic line before their battle on Utapau. Except in this build, I will be making one of the most popular memes on the subreddit, where we see General Grievous's arms just keep multiplying and multiplying, pulling out more lightsabers as they appear. This is actually a really popular meme even outside of the subreddit, so I wouldn't be surprised if you'd seen this before. But I started this build off by creating a walkway similar to one we would see on Utapau, using a combination of tile, sloped plates, and vent pieces. Once I was happy with how the floor was looking, I finished up the build by just adding some small crates to add to the backdrop. I'm honestly pretty happy with how everything came out. Since the main focus will be on the actual minifigs, I didn't want anything too crazy in the build. But with that being said, let me go grab those minifigs. To start, I'm using my episode 3 Obi-Wan, but I swapped out one of his arms with one from Crazy Bricks, not a sponsor, to give him his iconic stance that we see at the start of the fight. And after adding Obi-Wan to the build, I grabbed my General Grievous minifig. That's a custom design by the LEGO legend himself, Brickmate. Now, this design is already really impressive, but I decided he needed some more arms. Now, this design is already really impressive, but if I want to make it accurate to the meme, he's gonna need a little bit more arms. So I made about 6 more arms for my Grievous, bringing the total to 8, and then I added that monstrosity to this build. This Grievous actually just looks ridiculous, but in the best way possible. And this scene is one of the most memed moments in the entire galaxy, but also one of the most important, as it leads to the demise of General Grievous, the fall of the Separatist Alliance, and another meme.
So uncivilized.
But let me know what you think of these first two builds, and let's get on to the next one. Now this build is actually a personal favorite that I found when scrolling through the PrequelMemes subreddit. It's a TikTok where a Jango Fett cosplayer runs into a massive line of clone troopers at some sort of convention, but he makes sure to greet each of them with a hug, handshake, pretty much whatever they want. And for anyone who doesn't understand this, Jango Fett is considered to be like the father of all clones since they're a clone of him, which is why I had to turn this moment into its own build. I started by making the convention floors, but I tried to add some more color and details than what I could see in the video since the whole ground just seemed to be like a concrete cement slab. You know, classic beautiful American architecture. After that, I also built a few stands and booths that are like commonplace for any convention and made sure to stock them up with any like replica weapons, knives, guns, anything that would be perfect for, you know, a convention. But after adjusting a few tile pieces, I was happy with the build and decided to start placing my minifigs. I started off by including one of the rarest things that you will ever find at a Star Wars convention, a woman. And from there I included a bunch of random minifigs, like my boy Indiana Jones, the blonde Aquaman, and other minifigs to represent kind of cosplayers that are also pretty common to see. But after putting in some of the random convention goers and booths, next was to add the proud father himself and a line of clones ready to greet him. I wanted to include a ton of random clones to give the build some more color, but also make it look more like the video, while also showing off a little bit of my clone collection. But I'm really happy with how this came out. This has to be one of my favorite builds so far, mainly because it's just so cool to include a bunch of different minifigs or characters who typically wouldn't be in the same build if it wasn't for something like this. Like I said, I think this came out great, but I hope you're not done yet, because I still have one more meme that I want to build. When I was looking for things to build on the PrequelMemes subreddit, I found this absolute gem. A beautiful edit combining Obi-Wan's iconic speeder bloopers from episode 2 with Anakin's agonizing pain in episode 3. This meme is one of the reasons why I decided to make this video, because I just knew I had to build this in Lego. I started by building up the hill that Anakin climbs after being completely de-limbed from Obi-Wan. Midway through building the terrain, I realized that this would be a great opportunity to include some lights into this build. And if you missed it in my last video, I've been using this JMB light kit in my builds just to give them a little something extra. I knew the lights would be a great addition to the lava, so I reworked the backdrop that I had made and added the lights below. I spent a while working on the hill, so much so that I actually ran out of storage while building it, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. From there, I tried a new lava technique that I've actually seen others use in the past by simply pouring out all of my 1x1 studs into the lava pool below with the lights underneath it. Like I said, this is something I personally haven't done in the past, but I'm really happy with how it looks, especially with the lights on, so maybe I'll do this more. You never know. After finishing up the hill, I wanted to make the air speeder from episode 2, but to be honest, I had no idea where to start. So I went onto Rebrickable to find some inspiration, but I ended up finding instructions for this air speeder for free from Dex Bricks. I'll make sure to include a link to this build in the description, so make sure you go and support this creator by liking the build and even checking out his other work. This build is incredibly impressive and uses techniques that I never considered in the past. I will say, it is pretty fragile and I've already had a few issues keeping it in one piece, but it fits perfectly into my mock and I'm really happy with how it looks. After finishing up the air speeder, I just had to add my minifigs to the mock. To start, I put Obi-Wan in the air speeder, simply enjoying life. And below, I added my Anakin minifig, screaming in pain as his flesh literally melts around him like Mike Scoopin from Survivor Australia. Funny enough, I wouldn't trust either of these men near fire or children. But I'm really happy with how this build turned out. The Mustafar portion of the build is great just by itself, but I think the Obi-Wan airspeeder element just makes it all the better. I think it's funny how you can turn such an emotional scene like this one into a lighthearted meme almost with ease, which is why I loved not only this build, but all of the builds in today's video. But make sure to let me know which one was your favorite, and what other Star Wars memes you would like to see me build in the future. Thanks for sticking around with me to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe. If you like this video, YouTube thinks you'll like this video here. Or if you're looking for some other cool builds, you can always check out my builds playlist here. But as always, thanks for swinging by the Cantina today. I wish you safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one.